Hello and good morning. This is Theresa and this is my channel. Thanks for joining me if you're live, and if you're on the replay, I hope that you will enjoy this too. But if you're live with me today on this beautiful Saturday, please feel free to chat and say hi. I'll say hi back to you. Today I'm going to play with mica powders. Do you have mica powders? Something like this? If you're like me, you don't use these enough. These are my newest, and I've hardly used these at all. These are, and I've got some overflow in here. They're Artesia, and I threw away the box, so I don't really like them. They have numbers for colors, and they're very shiny. I don't know if they're all shiny, but I think they are. Anyways, these are brushos. So I have 5 of these brusho. And I got these back when I was a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Feel like the camera needs to come a little this way. That'll be better. So I have 5 of these, and let's talk about what kind of results I can get with this sort of thing. Now I have been playing with coffee water and regular water. And I've got a big stack of index cards that I've been working on. And I had a stack of library card pockets that I've been working on. Is that wet? No, I don't think that's wet. So these are my library card pockets that at first I just, so far I've mostly just coffee dyed these library card pockets. And then I coffee dyed a lot of index cards, as you can see here. So then on one of the coffee dyed library pockets, I used some brusho on that. So I used I don't know if you can still get these or not. I don't think Stampin' Up! Sells them anymore. But this is Prussian blue. But again, they're called brushos. Brusho. I thought that was pretty. So I did take some of the index cards and I experimented with the brushos, as you can see here. And I experimented with the Artesia. So these have coffee and Artesia. Some of them I did dye a little bit on the back. But yeah, so these have more of a shine to them. So I thought I'd just turn the camera on and continue to experiment a little bit. So one thing I've done, ooh, is brush it with coffee. And I have some, as you can see, I have some artesian here because I use this to kind of squish it afterwards. So let's go with the brushes first. And goodness, there are so many things you can do with this sort of thing. You can take a brush and you can kind of blot it with a brush. Or you can just take water oh, I grabbed a different color. I meant to grab the same color. It's right here in front of me. I like the brushes better because they're kind of like a shaker bottle. So it's easier to distribute the powders. And then you can take a spray bottle and you can distribute the color that way. And the heat gun will distribute it as well. Okay, so this is what that looks like between the coffee dye or just plain water. Now let's look at what happens when I kind of was curious about what white would look like. So let's dampen that again. See, bigger blobs come out. I mean, these come with a spoon, but a spoon wouldn't help what I'm trying to accomplish here. And I can't buy a shaker bottle for each one of these. There's like 50 or 70 or something. So the white just kind of mutes it. Okay, there's a little bit of a glossy look on it in some places. That just looked like some paint smeared or something. But there's a little something. So let's look and see what it would be like with the coffee. Maybe a little water. It's kind of muddy. I like that better. That has some interest to it to me. So let's see. Let's do. Okay. Let's do the coffee. And I think it's always of interest when there's residual media on a brush because you didn't clean your brush. I personally like that. Okay, let's go back to the Prussian blue. Now, let's try another white. I don't know what the difference is between these whites. 700 and 701. Well, that came out very clumpy. So I'm going to have to spread that one. Okay, so that looks interesting. I think I like the red better, just how it turned out. So let's try this now. Let's do a little bit of water here, and now put a little Prussian blue on top of the shiny mica. Well, I don't know if you noticed that while I was busy doing this, a bug came down. I don't know if it was a spider or a gnat, but now I'm going to have to put a disclaimer on my video that there were an insect harmed during the making of this video. So I'm going to have to put that disclaimer on there. I am no respecter of insects that fly in front of my face. So that's kind of interesting. And then put this coffee over to the side in hopes that I won't dump it. And then these are going to look even so much more interesting, I think, as they're played with even more, like inking. Look at that. That's just amazing what a little inking will do. That's pretty. Now I'm kind of liking the blue one more. But I like both of them. This one doesn't do much for me at all, but let's see if we can make it more interesting with some inking. Now, a light one like this actually would be really good for now to stamp on it. So let's do that. I tell you what, I procrastinated and procrastinated, even though I was really interested in the glass mat idea. And I just love this glass mat. I won't ever have to replace it. As far as I know, I don't know why anybody would need to replace a glass mat like I did for the, what are the other mats called? What is that material that the other mats are made of? Anyways, I think you know what I mean, the cutting mats. I won't ever have to replace this like I did those. And the only reason I replaced those was because I couldn't get them as clean as I wanted after a certain point. So I decided it was time for a pretty mat. But not only all of that, but the glass mat, amazingly enough, because the one thing I was most worried about with purchasing a glass mat, and the ones I saw were $40, $50, I think. But I found this one for 20 something. It was under $30 at Hobby Lobby. I think it was Hobby Lobby. It might have been Michael's. And I think it's a We Are Memory Keeper glass mat. So not the expensive Tim Holtz Ranger whatever brand mat. But amazingly enough, I like how these cut. So I think they cut even better than the other type of mat. I might be wrong, but I love cutting on this. Me and this knife have been going back and forth fighting. It doesn't always like to come out. I have no idea what the problem is. So part of having a nice cut like that is having a nice sharp blade. But I love cutting on this glass mat. It's beautiful. But I was so worried that it was going to make a mark. If it's making a mark, I'm not seeing it. So I can't say it enough that I love this mat. And I'm glad that I finally pulled the trigger and bought one of these. But because I found a cheaper option, that's why I felt more comfortable to spend the money. Because then if it didn't work for me, I wouldn't be worried. Now, another thing that I thought might be cool, I have this tube of titanium white gouache paint that the lid split, and so I wasn't able to put a lid on it. So it's been sitting here on my desk without a lid, drying out. So, oh wow, still very moist. So I thought, I wonder what it would be like to take this and just swirl a little bit of paint on here. I like it, actually. I like the different, shiny versus, I don't know what you would call that. Anyways, that's kind of cool. All right, let's get the stamps out. Let me pull my trolley over that has the stamp sets, and we'll go with this one. In this container, this bin, is my Tim Holtz and my Stampin' Up! Stamps. The way I do things pretty much is I make a decision on how to store my items. I try to categorize them. I try to have like stations. So this would be the rubber stamp station or acrylic stamp station. And once this is full, then I can't buy any more. And that's how I try to stick with things. When I decided to not do Stampin' Up! Anymore, there were a few rubber stamp sets that I still wanted to use. So I went through them all, chose which ones I wanted to keep, and then bought some, some Tim Holtz stamps after that. And that's pretty much what I'm going to stick to. I do have a second bin that has foam stamps and I'm not sure how I fit this in here. This has just some miscellaneous rubber stamps. These are my letters and numbers, some of them. Let's see. How did I do this? I think I do it like this. It's kind of like Tetris. Okay, so, excuse me, I have a dry throat. All this fits in here. So foam, some letters and numbers, because the box was just cute. And it just goes with the vintage theme. Just some miscellaneous because unfortunately some of the Tim Holtz stamps, when they're small, this is from a different set, but like some of these won't stick to the plastic piece. Like these are sticking really good. Let me see if I can get them out. These stick really good. And that's very helpful to me for storage. But some of these don't stick, so I just started throwing some of the smaller ones that I was using often into here, and then I have my label stamps in here. I think this is from a Stampin' Up! Set. So that's just the miscellaneous. And then this is my acrylic stamps. I have another acrylic stamp right here. Do I have an empty spot for that? Here's the upside down. Nope, that wouldn't fit. And some Tim Holtz that got loose on me, I guess. Oh, good. Here we go. I love ginkgo. So I was tickled to find this ginkgo stamp, acrylic stamp for a reasonable price. Let's use this one today. No, I was going to use red rubber. No. Decisions, decisions. I'm trying to find a stamp block. Can't find my long one, but this will work. Hmm. I like that one. I've not used this stamp set before. Okay, I have some ideas for that. Let's put that to the side for a minute. Come on. looking for little images. So I think I will go with like the feathers. I think I'll go with this one. Okay, I need a smaller block. I gotta pre-stamp that to make sure I've got it. Okay, that looks good. Boy, that one did not want to come off. Not really sure what that is in the middle. That won't fit. Those are too big. Okay, we're done with these. I thought I was going to get more mileage out of those than I did. Well, now wait a minute. This probably would fit inside of here. Cute. Well, it's cute to me. I wonder what this one is. What is that? Weird. Okay, she has me muted. Where's my mouse? Just typed hi Susan. Because Susan with I Totally Love It is in the chat. Now what is this? I have no idea what that image is. Right there. Part of me started to think, I don't know why, but a cigar band, but no. What in the world is that? I have no idea. It's almost like that's a little banner right there at the bottom. Weird. Okay, we're going to put these away. Where's my... Okay, I think some of these will fit. I think what Susan was telling me is that she's recording. Obviously, I can't stamp and talk at the same time. She's recording her final flip through, and I'm going to guess it's of the Vintage Cooking with Faith journal that she's doing as part of the August collaboration for Junk Journal Madness, of which I was the guest collaborator. And I struggled to go 3 weeks on that. And the reason why is because I was like addicted. I was like a junkie doing that collaboration. I just had so much fun with that journal. Well, that didn't stamp exactly right, but it still looks kind of cool with what it did. So I need 2 more little ones. But yeah, that August was a lot of fun. I just happened, when things come together for you. I had purchased from Marketplace in Kuna, Idaho. I think it was Kuna. Anyways, a bunch of cooking type things, like little, they're cooking, but they're like advertisements from not Starkist, Sunquist, Kissed, Campbell's, and things like that, Jello. And then I had a cookbook that when we were cleaning out the storage, well, we were cleaning it, but we were moving. So we were moving into a smaller storage unit. And when we were doing that, obviously I can't look and talk at the same time. I have hardly used these. We ran across a cookbook of my husband's that he said he didn't want anymore, and I could use it for junk journaling. And that was just perfect for the August collaboration. It was just made to be. And it was such a nice Woman's Day quiche magazine that had a lot of beautiful pictures in it. I think I'll just do a number. These are cute. I don't use these. I wonder if I want to do that square. Yes, I do. I want to do that square. Yes, I do. You're gonna have to pre-stamp that one to make sure I've got it right side up, and I don't. Fun, fun, fun. So that's kind of cool, and I could use that for a project, or I could fussy cut it out. Yeah, so I hope that you will take a look at the different Junk Journal Madness collaborations. You can see that by typing in the hashtag Junk Journal Madness. And Susan has a group, and there's a lot of posts in the group. She has an Instagram account, so if you use the hashtag in Instagram, I'm sure you'll pull up a lot of stuff, because I've been posting on both my YouTube channel and my Instagram account, I guess is what I say. On my Instagram profile. I believe that would be the correct way to say that. There we go. The other day I was watching Emily's channel, and she was doing a slide, and she took little food stickers, and she put the food sticker inside of her slide, like her specimen, as her specimen. And I thought, how clever is that? So we may see something like this. Okay, let me use this as an example, actually. Wine goes with food, goes with cooking, it goes with eating, all of that. So, say I've got this stamp, and I want to use this stamp for my Cooking with Faith journal, but how does that correlate with cooking or faith? I mean, could put some Bible verses in there. They wouldn't fit. But if I had some like Bible type inspirational, like joy, peace, love, God, whatever, could do that. But yeah, you could do something like this, and by stamping a food item in there for the cooking, vintage Cooking with Faith. I mean, because this is vintage. That stamp set is based on vintage type images. So, could even imagine that to be a cookbook, and I could put that in there. In fact, let's go ahead and grab that journal. Oh, actually, I can't. I packaged it up because I didn't want dust to get on it, and I got it ready to go to storage. So my journals have to be homed in the storage unit until I can find a buyer for them, which doesn't usually happen. So they just kind of hang out in storage. I'm just looking at this, trying to think of what, oh, I just came up with an idea. So I could take something like this and do, like, I want to say one page wonder, but more of like a masterboard of stamped images. How's that for a description? Let me put this away. Big fan of putting things away before I go to the next thing for the most part. Sometimes I get different that way. Ooh, those would be cool. But I need something like this. Is this one piece? I think this is one piece actually. Oh yes, it is. Okay, so we're going to do this way. And then we're going to go this way. I'm looking for my bearing. I always forget the name of it. Probably put away with my gel plate stuff. That is starting to look kind of cool. I like that. I have no idea at the moment what I'm going to do with this. Oh, but something's coming to me right now. Okay, do I have a backing for this? I don't think so. So let's just try and make sure all the ink is off of here. Better to do it this way. Where's my... We need a wipe. Okay, now we can put that away. So what I was thinking is, thinking of this as a masterboard, this would make some really cool labels. Now, problem is I went through my labels yesterday and I didn't get them all grouped together, but I like categories. I like to group things together. And so I have this drawer in my cart that I got from Memory Keepers. It's my 10 drawer cart that's on wheels that I absolutely love. because I was able to put my sewing machine on top of there. I was able to put my roll of paper towels on top of there, which everywhere else that I had my roll of paper towels, it would always fall off and end up on the floor and drive me nuts, which isn't a very far drive. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. Didn't realize what I had here. These are some of my educational cards. Oh, that's something I already have put together. Anyways, okay, so here's some labels on hemp fabric. Then my conversation type labels from Tim Holtz, which are all what I would call label snippets. Some miscellaneous stuff around here, some junk journal jewelry, which, because that's right there, I forget I have it. But my other container's too small to fit all this in there. Anyways, so I went through this yesterday, and a lot of the little tiny ones that I got from, I think, Old Shop or something like that, is where a lot of these are from. And then these, there's some Tim Holtz snippets in this one, along with some Tracy Fox that were printed out on like a linen paper. Just a bunch. Here's some vintage labels here. Here's some Roxy's Creations labels. And these are all my labels. These are all my homemade labels that I've made. Hi Don, welcome. So I've got this all organized, but there's, as you can see, there's still some room. I'm just trying to be careful because I am getting a little top heavy on my homemade labels. Okay, let me get this put away. And what we'll do is we'll take a cutter and turn it over like you would with a master board and just start cutting. And we're going to make this in different label sizes. How fun is this? I love anything that's a master board. Okay, let's cut that straight. Let's see what we have. Okay, I was going to cut that one more time. And we'll give these an ink. What you doing today, Dawn? Oh, I think I hear the hubby's motorcycle. I'm back from running errands. Could even take one of these and cut it even smaller. Because we like those teeny tiny labels too. Oh, no, that's not hubby. Our pipes aren't quite that loud. Oh, you are busy. Are you a camper, Dawn? I gotta ask everybody if they're campers for a while. Because I have a dream, and I told my husband this the other day, and that dream is to do a camping craft. Good for you, Susan. Congratulations. I want to do a camping craft retreat that is affordable enough for people on fixed income to be able to participate. And they just have to either come in a trailer or a tent, not come in a tent, but be willing to tent camp. Or if they have extra money, then they could rent a cabin nearby and then so I gotta pop that comment up there because that was a good one. This was Dawn's response to my question about if she likes to camp. Okay, now what I was thinking is, where did I put those? Yeah, so I've already got a spot picked out, and it is in Donnelly, Idaho, up in the mountains. And didn't I cut some stuff out? What did I do with it? I'm confused. Where'd that little bottle and stuff go? Oh, it's right here. So I was wondering about using these on these labels. But the campground has a kitchen, a recreation room, a pavilion, and a group camping spot. And it's very inexpensive to camp there. I'm not digging those colors. So what if I had something with different colors? I went to a church camp in Oregon when I was pregnant with one of my kids. I don't remember which one. and I went with a friend, and it was just beautiful. And then after the camp, we went to the coast, and that was the first time I got to eat at Moe's, I think is the name of it. Let's throw away my scraps. Okay. Well, that's true, but I don't know how you can afford to live in Washington. It is beautiful there. The weather at the campground that we were at in Pulsabo was beautiful, but yeah, it was very expensive. Foothills of California. Okay, so I don't think that I like this for anything, but you gotta play. I always forget if you're in Oregon or Washington, Don. Okay, I'm gonna say no to these. And then what if I'm not seeing it? Just think about putting something like this on here and stamping on there, but I'm not seeing it. It's not coming together for me. Anyways, well, what about got another idea? What about just using other, no, I need tweezers. Okay, so things don't always come together for you right off the bat. I'm not coming up with anything that I like here, but I do like this, and I think that this has a lot of potential as a layer. Too big. I'm so annoyed at myself that for this kit, when I cut this ephemera out, I used all the little teeny tiny pieces to decorate. And I keep wanting the little tiny pieces that oh, I'm pointing to it and I'm off camera. Like this, I use them all. Okay, so nothing tiny in there. So the bottom line is that I could do some more stamping with just darker stamps on here. Wonder if I could cut that out. Nah. Okay. I'm getting distracted. But if I had smaller stamps, I was thinking about turning these into bug labels. Okay, thanks for visiting, Susan. I'm just going to turn one of these into a bug label. Let's do this one. We'll do that in memory of the bug that I killed. Oh, I used the wrong stamp pad. That's kind of cool, stamping with the oxide ink first and then the archival ink, because it gives it a little bit of a shadow. That actually looks kind of cool. I kind of like that. What else do I have here that is small? Okay, we're gonna stamp that in oxide first, and we're gonna put that right there. Ooh, can't we get it darker? That's a little better. Okay, now archival. Getting a bite to eat sounds like a good idea. My stomach's starting to rumble. It's just, I like that one better, actually. But, alright, well, I just do this to give myself some ideas, to give other people ideas. I hope that you found this somewhat entertaining, and I hope that you will visit my channel again in the future. And lastly, I hope that you have a very blessed day and have a great crafting time in your near future soon, which I believe Dawn said she is crafting today. So take care. Goodbye.